good morning everyone. Today we are excited to present an important and timely topic, STEM education, traditional versus modern method, exploring the shift in early learning paradigms. As we all know, education is evolving rapidly. While traditional method focuses mainly on memorization and textbook learning, modern approaches like STEM encourages hands-on learning, inquiry-based and interdisciplinary learning. In our session, we will explore how STEM education transforms classroom into centers of innovation, creativity and real problem solving. Let me begin by introducing ourselves. I am Saratarannu and with me is my enthusiastic and dedicated teammate Kanchan Pala. Together, we aim to explore and share how STEM can revolutionize the way we teach in class. So what exactly is STEM? STEM, as many of us have already given the presentation, so we already understand that STEM stands for science, technology, engineering and mathematics. It is not just a subject now, but an integrated approach that promotes critical thinking, creativity, collaboration and problem solving. Now how it all started. With the early advancement in technology and the introduction of Industrial Revolution, the things that have changed, the world has changed now. With the introduction of first Industrial Revolution, it was all about steam engines, which was a mechanized production. Second Industrial Revolution was about assembly lines and electricity and mass production. The third Industrial Revolution was automation, which was mainly about electronics and IT industry. Today we are living in the fourth Industrial Revolution, in which everything is digitized. Now the connectivity is more, the smart technologies have been introduced and like cloud computing, big data, data analysis and many others. The fourth Industrial Revolution, characterized by advancement in AI, robotics, IoT, biotechnology and data analytics, is transforming industries and redefining education. The K-12 education is evolving to meet these demands by focusing on STEM and emphasizing on coding, robotics and data literacy. Moving education away from theoretical to real-world application. The fourth Industrial Revolution focuses more on STEM education and real-world application. The STEM education is becoming important because it equips students with the skills and knowledge necessary to thrive in an increasingly technology-driven world. From here onwards, I would like to ask my teammate to take over. Over to you, Kanchan.
Thank you, Teacher Sana. A warm good morning to respected principal, jury members and dear innovators. As you can see in the picture, in that traditional methods of teaching, it mainly focuses on replicating correct hypotheses, theories and emphasizes on acquisition of knowledge through textbooks, memorization methods and also the assessment process is based on written exams and tests. But after incorporating STEMs into the education, we can provide the students an engaging and comprehensive learning environment in which we are preparing them to succeed in increasingly technological and complex world. Like in STEM, the children are observing the things first of all, the questions are arising in their mind and by the experimental method they are drawing out their conclusions. By incorporating the STEMs, the modern methods of teaching become so innovative. So the topic which we have selected for today's session is waste management. The purpose of selecting this topic is not only the community issue, it's becoming global matter of concern nowadays. So when traditionally we teach waste management in the classroom, whether it is biodegradable, non-biodegradable. We also discussed on the methods of waste disposal like landfillings, incineration, composting, vermicomposting. And then we also discussed the ways to prevent pollution generated from solid and liquid waste. But the challenges we generally face by teaching through the traditional methods are such theoretical knowledge does not provide or does not encourage the students for becoming problem solvers. It will have lack of real world application. Students do not develop the skills to innovate solutions to overcome pollution generated from waste. So we have to frame some objectives why we are incorporating STEMs into this waste management. The objectives are promote interdisciplinary understanding. It means this STEM is not only concerned with the topic of waste management, it is not only concerned with the science, it is concerned with that mathematics, engineering, technologies and SDGs also, especially SDG 11 and 12. Secondly, it is developing the innovative skills among the students, develop the problem solving skills among the students, and the students are learning in an inquiry-based engaging environment. We are preparing these, in this way, we are preparing the students for their future. So, when we teach this waste management in science we can ask the children to conduct a waste audit survey in their classrooms, in schools, to know that what kind of waste they are generating or how much amount of waste they are generating. And secondly, we can ask them for the Eco Club rally we are also conducting in our schools. We are making the society aware that this kind of waste people should not, instead of using polythene bags, people can use that jute bags or the paper bags. And we can also prepare the compost bins. And we have for e-waste, we have that Hula Day e-waste collection center in our schools. And for technology point of view, the children can make that digital storytelling, and they can prepare the short videos also to prepare. So in this way they can upload these videos to aware the society regarding the waste hazards. And they can show these videos to other classmates. In this way the other class students will also take interest. And for engineering, they will design a waste management system and they will design the smart waste bins. Smart waste bin, that means this waste bins can identify whether it is a solid waste or the liquid waste. For that they will be using pH sensors, motors, etc. That is where they can design in engineering. For example, they can use AI-driven tools to analyze and categorize the waste, whether it is the biodegradable, non-biodegradable, solid waste or liquid waste. They can also design AI-powered robots to automate waste segregation and utilizing coding to program the robots sorting mechanism. And in mathematics, they are learning that for this smart bins, I can show you a video also here that what kind of smart bins they can prepare. the innovative mind, they can create more differences which will be useful for the future. Now, for the mathematics, as in classrooms, they are measuring the waste bins, that how much the waste bin is. After putting the waste into it, how much amount of waste is generating per day, weekly, monthly, and they are preparing the statistical data regarding this. And not only they are getting the statistical data, with this they are thinking the ways that what are the ways so that we can minimize the waste production in the schools, and these are the ways they can aware the society also that they should minimize the production of waste, because they are really creating the harms to the health and the environment also. So the learning outcomes after incorporating the STEM for the space education is that the children can apply scientific and mathematical concepts for designing the statistical data, preparing the statistical data, and they can design the build and prototype, just I have shown the smart builds, and they are taking out the solution. They are using digital tools also like AI and then robotics, and they can collaborate it effectively, and they can demonstrate critical thinkings of themselves and reflect the societal and environmental impact on the others. So now for this also I would like to show you a video here.
I thought it would be just about collecting garbage and recycling. But then we started researching how waste affects our environment and health. And I was shocked. We have built a model of smart bin by using sensors and programming to alert when it was pushed. I never used sensors or coding before, but with my teammates and teacher support, I learned step by step. This project taught me that even small actions like managing waste properly can have a big impact. I taught managing skills, presentation skills, and that science and technology can actually solve problems.
And third, the STEM skills the children are developing, they are developing the critical thinking and analytical reasoning. They are developing the problem solving skills in themselves. Their collaboration and teamwork is increasing. The children are doing these things in the teamwork, and their creativity, innovation is also increasing. They are getting the scientific literacy and their engineering, and they are designing the model just I have shown here for the smart waste bin, and the data collection and analysis, improving their mathematical skill also, and their project management is engaging the community environment also. From now onwards, I would again like to hand over the mic to my colleague Sana.
Thank you so much, guys. From now, I'll take over and will explain you how the different aspects can be connected to the waste management. The first one here is novelty and relevance. The uniqueness of what makes our STEM-based waste management technique is that it goes beyond textbook knowledge. It is a hands-on, students-driven solution that reflects real-life challenges we face every day. From overflowing garbage bins to polluted streets and health risks. This project directly connects to real-world issues such as rising waste, lack of segregation, need of sustainable living. Inclusivity and equity, how inclusive this topic is with today's scenario. As you can see in this slide, that the STEM activities on waste management encourages participation from all students, regardless of gender, background, or learning ability. The special students can be instructed using audio instruction or larger display or any other kind of instruction they need to make them more comfortable with the STEM learning. STEM explained through implementation lenses. Here are a few parameters and we have some how it can be applied. scalability and replicability. The models that is being created can be replicated in other classes, homes or communities. They can also be scaled up by involving school, clubs, parent groups or even local municipal bodies. The sustainability and cost effectiveness of teaching waste management through STEM education is that it is not just solving a problem temporarily. We are learning to create long-term solutions that protect our environment, reduce carbon footprints. Also, the projects that can be made for this can be cost-effective by using recycled materials and by making learning both. This makes the learning both practical and affordable. So learning and reflection, here are a few challenges that is being faced nowadays by implementing STEM education and few solutions I would like to share with you. So lack of STEM resources or material. Like in our school, we don't have other tinkering lab. So obviously our students are a little bit back off because we don't have the resources. But we can use low-cost, local or recycled materials to overcome this challenge. Now, when we are introducing STEM education, teachers are mostly unfamiliar with this topic. So we can give teacher training, we can have peer training and demo lessons to overcome this challenge. Time constraints in daily schedule is one of the greatest problem, I guess, with implementing STEM education, because our main concern is syllabus completion on time. So this can be, we can have a solution by integrating STEM into existing science math period. Now uneven student engagement is also one of the problems, because not all students are interested in STEM and they in fact don't understand also. Our school has a little humble background, students are from little humble background, so we cannot encourage them in, it is very difficult for us to encourage them in the STEM activities. So what we do, we can include gamified elements and real life problem scenarios to overcome this problem. And one more problem here is difficulty accessing creativity and teamwork. For this we can use rubrics, peer evaluation and self-assessment tools. Key insight and improvement for future. Here we can see that student voice matter. If we want to improve, like we have already introduced STEM education, now how we can improve it. So we can get feedback and reflection from the students. Like we have seen in the video, just to show you, one girl was speaking out, she was appreciating and the way we were telling them about how much waste they are creating in the class or in the canteen area, and they were shocked by the number of plastic waste and paper waste, and after that they started behaving more concerningly. Interdisciplinary planning, not only like science but integrating all other subjects with STEM education. Teacher support is very important here. We can plan out a lesson and we can provide resources and we can motivate students. Future vision. As we look forward, the future, our vision is to create a generation of students who are not just learners but solution makers. We imagine schools where waste is not just thrown away but transformed into compost, into learning models, into data for community improvement. With the support of STEM and passion of young minds, managing waste will not just be a lesson but a lifestyle change. The key takeaway from this session would be, the first question would be the why. Why we are implementing STEM education? Because we want to make our students future ready. The 21st century skills are essential for not only any career path but with not just a STEM. Enhanced problem solvers, students will be better equipped to tackle complex and real world issues. increased engagement and motivation. Learning becomes more dynamic, relevant and exciting when students are creating and innovating. As we come to an end of our presentation, we would like to thank for giving this opportunity to speak and share our thoughts. Looking forward to attend such more sessions. Take care and keep exploring.
Thank you, teachers. Now the question and answer round by the judges.
What are the AI tools the students are using?
So, as I told, that now what video we showed you was from a science exhibition that we had in our school. So AI tools here was basically microcontroller, Arduino, and how we are making it use the ultrasonic sensor and then pH sensor. Few sensors are used. We can make it more interactive by using LCD screens and level monitors, so that once the bin gets like it is overflowing, then we can get a message. So GSM modules can be used. So we have a vision for it, but we have not implemented it yet.
Okay. Have you implemented any real-time project by your students?
So in middle school, like 6, 7, 8, but when we are teaching about waste management or pollution, so we take them to different corners of our school where we have like making it sustainable. Like we have clean waste center where we take them, and then we encourage the students and the parents as well. Sometimes in the parent station we take, or any other station we encourage parents to contribute the e-waste. And
Do you have any working model at school?
so the working model was the one which we showed,
Okay.
because we don't have that much of resources.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Any innovative methodology you have used in this?
Yes, sir.
Any innovative methodology?
So while making the smart bin, methodology, there was the use of sensors and then LCD screen where the message can be shown that the bin is overflowing, so it's time
Any success story in relation to the achievements of the
It
students in board
is
exams?
just a prototype and maintained. It is just a prototype, sir. So this is like how we are implementing the STEM to make the students understand that how these two aspects of education can be
How this
connected.
project can be aligned with the results we are getting in board exams?
Sir, as I told you that this topic is of middle school. So if we are, sir, with the board results like in standard 10 syllabus or in
Sir, actually when we teach in the traditional method, the children, some of them they take interest, at least 20% of them they are curious to learn. But after incorporating the STEM, as we are digital storytelling is there, if any student is just showing the digital story to their classmates, the curiosity will develop among the other learners and they will also take interest in learning the waste management. Yes, the waste management is so interesting.
Good morning to all of you. As we all know that we have gathered here to learn and know more about STEM education. STEM, the word stands for science, technology, engineering and mathematics. Actually, this word STEM, it promotes you can say it promotes the learning of students about problem solving, then your creative thinking and innovation. We need to inculcate these things in the students through this STEM learning. Okay, so in next few 15 to 20 minutes, we will try to explore this STEM learning, its importance, its benefits, and how we can implement it in our education system. With the topic, we have helping students to overcome learning barriers in science, which will be taken further by the PDC. Okay.
Good morning everyone. My name is Subhashish Juri and I am from PhD Public School, Karala. So, as we have seen the topics, I am going to discuss regarding how we can help our students in overcoming their learning barriers they are facing. Normally, if we are teaching the students any concept in a traditional way, they are unable to understand the topics. Here, overall the problem is, whenever we are teaching the concepts, the students struggle to visualize and understand abstract scientific concepts. So here we have taken the example of force and pressure to explain these topics. So this is a very common concept. These are very fundamental, but here the students often misunderstand due to the traditional teaching methods. So what we can do is, we can implement STEM-based teaching in our learning, where we can actively engage our students in the learning process and where they will explore through experiments. See, here a few common learning barriers are identified. First one is the rote learning process that we are facing. So this has to be overcome. And there is a lack of real-life application of the concepts. There is limited hands-on experiences. Many a times when we are teaching students the formulas and other things, they are unable to relate the formula that we are teaching to them in a real life, and there is confusion between various topics that we are teaching to them. So as we have discussed throughout the day today, STEM stands for science, technology, engineering and mathematics. So STEM and activity-based learning, these are forms of learning that starts with a question, where we introduce any topic to the students with a question, and along with this, we try to inculcate curiosity in the students, and this curiosity further leads them to explore various topics, and then they start a journey of self-exploration and they start the process of discovery, and through this they learn various concepts of science through inquiry-based learning process. See, in this we have highlighted some target concepts to which they commonly misunderstood. Like while we are teaching force, they think about it as only it is a kind of an interactive force. There are many situations where they are unable to get the concept of other things like forces, invisible forces. They are unable to realize it. So these are, when we are teaching pressure, they are often misunderstanding between force and pressure. So these concepts we can make it clear to them by introducing the concept in an interesting and innovative way. For example, we can start the concept with a storytelling concept, where we can relate those topics to a real life situation and we can explore them through stories. That will lead them to explore the topic further and help them in understanding better. So see, there are some sample activities that we have taken. Commonly, we are going to teach the concept of pressure. We are starting with such activities. We are showing the students various activities, like we are taking the balloons and along with it we are trying to pop the balloon with the needles. So this gives them an idea how the pressure, the concept of force and pressure are different and they are able to differentiate between it. So there is a, and when we are teaching regarding the atmospheric pressure, so they are unable to realize it when we are saying to the student that yes, there is an existence of huge atmospheric pressure existing between exerted on us. So they are unable to experience it. So we can make them experience these things through such kind of activities. See, I was telling you for introducing a topic, see, the concept of force and pressure, we can introduce with the help of such situations we are giving to the students. So, through this, they will start taking interest and get connected to the topic also. In this story that you can see is to a child, while they were exploring through the nearby areas around their house, the boy got stuck in the sand. And what the sister is saying is that you do not move or do not swim. Otherwise, what will happen is you are going sinking much more and more. And she got bored from somewhere, and due to which he got escaped. So here, students can clearly understand that force and pressure are two different topics. These are the various teaching strategies which you can overcome the barriers. We can use these topics while teaching the topic. We can connect these situations to our real life situations where which the students sees so that they can easily connect these topics to the real life situation. As well as we have to focus on the hands-on experiences learning. We can give such kind of a activity to the students for performing. Such kind of a scenario we can design. We can ask them to work on. We can provide them various kind of materials and ask them to design, give such kind of situation so that they can work on it. Like you can see this just scenario. The students are asked to design shoes for people who walk on soft and muddy grounds. These shoes must prevent the person from sinking, and these are the materials we are providing to the students. We are giving balloons to them which will simulate the ground, cardboard pieces so that they can use it for making shoes, books or other weights which will simulate the human weight and measuring scale, ruler and worksheet on which we will record various observations. In this activity, what we can ask is we can ask the students to plan what kind of shoes to be prepared so that they can help walking on the soft and muddy surfaces. Then they will start thinking on this topic and they will plan for it. Here, the concept of science, planning and engineering will come into existence. They will create, and after the whole thing is done, the teacher sits with various types of designs they have prepared, and they are going to discuss which design is better and which one will be much more attractive in this situation. And after that, with the help of various all the designs they have made, they will calculate the pressure acting on with the help of both the shoes. So here there is an implementation of mathematics as well in this concept. So here the key concepts which are reinforced are force, area, and they will be able to understand how applying less pressure will give better support and it will prevent the person from sinking. So after all these things were implemented, we can get and check whether the students are still having misconceptions with the help of this kind of questions, this kind of concept cartoons which we can implement, to check whether the understanding of the student is correct or not. So, in the conclusion, I can say STEM-based learning transforms passive learners into active person who can make discovery. By using abstract scientific concepts, they can build quality knowledge. Both a thoughtful mixture of demonstration, storytelling, and inquiry-based learning can make science learning more enjoyable. The school, we are organizing this kind of exhibitions where students can exhibit their talent. So that's all from my side. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, madam. Now the question answer round from the judges.
Okay. What are the activities you are doing at your school for understanding subject by the students?
Yes, sir.
What are the activities you are doing right now at your school to understand the subject more clear by the students?
So, in all the topics we are, the students are making models, working models as well. Like for this topic of pressure, they are making hydraulics and bridges and other things. They are made and submitted. So they are using all these things, and we have made a lab also where they are keeping all these models.
That means they are making models.
Yes, models.
After teaching by you, they are making the models, no?
Yes.
Any other things apart from activities?
As I told you, this kind of a science exhibition we are conducting.
Exhibitions.
All activities that you mentioned, where is the innovation happening in teaching science using STEM education? What innovative methods are you using?
So, those methods that I highlighted now, they are working on it. The students are exploring these things.
Have you done all these activities in your school?
Yes, ma'am.
So, what was the experience of the students? You had to, if you could show us the difference between the understanding of the students before the activity and after the activity.
So, when they are doing the activity, they are able to understand the concept much more better. But I have not the pictures. Actually, we were not aware about what was the format of the presentation that we used to make. So that's
Okay. Don't you think that nail experiment is dangerous for kids? Nail experiment, nail one that you have shown for to explain the pressure.
no, that picture that I have depicted there, is somewhere they are seeing in the real life, but while doing it, we are doing it with the balloons.
Okay.
I think these all methods we are using in our traditional teaching. All the teachers are using this one.
Yes, sir.
So whatever you told, or balloons and all, most of the times all teachers are using it. So what this team is different, what this team does differently.
Like one more example that I given, sir, the cluster activity. So here, while designing that activity, they are implementing it in different ways. They are changing the parameters. Like we are giving them to do various activities which are changing the parameters, and with the help of these parameters, here they can design two different types of shoes, and then depending on the area, depending on the increase or decrease in the area, how is it affecting pressure, they are calculating the incident.
Do you have any success story?
Yes, we have our like picture that I have shown. Our students have made model of a cart, solar cart, which we have exhibited in the exhibition outside, and we have won the first prize there recently, last month.
Can we start? Yes. Teachers, now you can start.
Hari Om. A very good afternoon to the esteemed judges, guests, and my dear educators present here. I, Kritika Roy, and my co-presenter, Madam Ruby Patra, are here to present our case paper of study effects of different light spectra on the growth of Vigna radiata, commonly called green ram or moonbeam. Here we have focused on a very specific topic of this curriculum, but we want to convey that the similar approach can be used for all school level experiments that have etched in the minds of our young learners. If today we are able to explain our experiment and scientific terms to the educators of science background as well as non-science background, then we are successful to explain it to our young learners as well who have actually conducted the experiment. Name of the initiative is Introspect on the various aspects of action and absorption spectra of visible light. Corresponding sub-theme of STEM education, STEM hands-on practical learning. We are representing Chinmay Vidyalaya, South Park, District. Our contact details are as follows. To begin with the introduction, we have what is visible spectrum. Visible spectrum is the portion of the electromagnetic spectrum visible to the human eye, which ranges from 400 nanometers to 700 nanometers. 400 being the blue spectrum and 700 being the red spectrum. Why blue and red spectrum only? The blue light promotes chlorophyll production in plants, and the red light is important for root growth, seed germination, flowering, and seed production. Have you ever wondered why the leaves appear green? Because they absorb the green light out of the visible spectrum and they reflect the green light out of this visible spectrum, whereas they absorb the blue and the red light. Light definitely is a very important factor for photosynthesis as well as many physiological processes. Studies indicate that a mixture of red and blue light in appropriate ratios might increase photosynthesis efficiency and grow better, while the exact impacts are still to be discovered as future aspects. C3 plant species that we have studied is Vigna radiata or moonbeam, which is quite adaptable to all kinds of atmosphere, and therefore it is a suitable model for investigation of the light reaction to various kinds of light spectrum that we are studying. The study examines the impact of three different light conditions that we have provided. First, red and blue light in a 3:1 ratio, natural sunlight and complete darkness on the growth of Vigna radiata. Problems that we have addressed. Farmers and researchers, they often rely on natural sunlight, which is subjected to weather and seasonal changes. Therefore, this makes plant growth less predictable. This experiment helps solve that by identifying which light spectrum is actually very effective for plant growth, whether it is the red plus blue light spectrum, sunlight or darkness, showing that red and blue light significantly enhances growth, making it better alternative for controlled environment farming and highlighting the problems of darkness like deterioration. Why it matters to us? It helps improve agricultural productivity, especially in indoor farming. Nowadays, we are facing that the vegetables grown and are available in the market, they are full of pesticides. So why not promote indoor farming and kitchen gardening? Lays groundwork for space agriculture as well, where sunlight isn't available. So our students will be motivated not only during their studies, but also for their future enterprises. Target group and timeline that we have focused, that is students and researchers in biology and agriculture, especially those studying plant physiology, photosynthesis in controlled environment. Here we have focused the students of standard 6 to 12 so that they can easily understand the importance of light for plant growth and effects of various light of visible spectra. This experiment was conducted for a total of 15 days. We have utilized the summer vacations or the Durga Puja holidays that we get so that we are always under the pressure to cover our syllabus. So definitely these kind of topics can be taken up during our free time, and the students can also use this as their home experiments.
Hello. So the learning objective of this case study are the students will be able to determine how the different wavelengths of light affect the photosynthesis, pigment production and the overall plant morphology. Even they will also be able to find out how the light affects the in the process like leaf expansion, stem elongation and stomatal activities, etc. Now the STEM skills come which include the scientific inquiry, technological literacy, where they can develop the critical thinking, the research aptitude and the problem skills through by inquiring the data, collecting the data, then collecting data and then formulating hypothesis, analyzing and interpreting data, gathering the formation, exploring the questions, and then they will come to the conclusion through the experimental evidences. So, and in project based they can design experiment to test the hypothesis. Now the description of the practice. What was that? What was that? So as Ritika has already said, light is an important environmental factor for the plant growth and development. Even red light, only the red light and the blue light, the wavelength of these two lights are particularly important for the growth of the plant. Red light stimulates the stem elongation and the biomass accumulation. Even and blue light that regulates the stomatal activity and leaf expansion. Now see what was done. Now the red light, the mixture of this red and blue light, that also can be, if there is an appropriate ratio, then that can also enhance the the rate of photosynthesis. And even the red, now how is it connected? Now experimental design, the evaluated effect of light conditions on beginner radiator, that is being as called as in common. Red and blue light, LED light used for 12 hours daily, then through sunlight for 12 hours daily, and complete darkness where no exposure of light at all. And plant material beginner radiators, each soak for 10 hours for the to enhance the germination. Growth medium sandy soil, that is optimum, and across all groups to be used. Measurement plant had measured from base to the base of the stem to the tip of the tallest branch. And data analysis, the sigmoid growth can be found out, and that is created at the end of the height of the data when it is analyzed. Materials or tool used. These are not like the cardboard box, extension cord with LED and the planting container.
Methodology of the experiment. Experimental design, as we have discussed, case 1, that is plants grown under red and blue light in a 3:1 ratio. That is 9 hours of red light and 3 hours of blue light, totaling of 12 hours of red and blue light spectrum daily. Case 2, plants exposed to 12 hours of natural sunlight daily, and case 3, that is plants grown in complete darkness with no light exposure. Case 3 was achieved by including the plants growing under sealed containers. All other growth conditions, including the soil type, watering frequency and environmental factors, were kept constant so that we can focus on the spectrum effect only.
Now, plant material and growth condition. Beginner data, the seeds were collected by the students by their convenient place, and for the better germination, that will be soaked for 10 hours, and then to maintain the uniformity, the same batch of seeds to be used. The growth measurement, that optimum for the sandy soil, that consistently used across all groups, and the plot size of the container were to be shown, that needs to be standardized up to 17 into 12 into 6 centimeter container, so that the root development can be properly done in equal place.
Light conditions were red and blue light in the ratio of 3:1 with 9 hours of red light and 3 hours of blue light. Natural sunlight, that is they were grown under natural conditions, exposed to all types of weather conditions. Complete darkness in sealed containers, dark chambers to eliminate light exposure entirely.
Measurement of plant height. Plant height was the sole growth parameter measured in this study. Measurements were taken from the base of the stem to the tip of the leaf, and this highest branch using a ruler, and data were collected in an alternate day for a day, and then on day 3 that will be observed, so that we can see the progression of the growth of the seeds. And then yes,
as the data was collected on alternate days like day 1, day 3, day 5 and so on, we had the data analysis of the plant height to create a sigmoid growth curve. That is, the initial growth was slow, but in the middle of the experiment the growth was enhanced to a great effect. Illustrating the growth trend under different light conditions, descriptive statistics were adapted.
now pedagogical approach, that is both inquiry based and experiment based. Students will investigate the effects of different wavelengths on the growth of the plant. That is red and blue light. They will investigate through the flowing questions, problem solving skills, through that critical thinking. They will inquire, and in experiment they will design the experiment to test the hypothesis of that the increase or decrease intensity of light, or the insufficient of the light condition. These will be the criteria through which they will be working. Role of the students and teachers. Students will be performing the experiment. They will be performing experiment which is like a home-based experiment, and a very simple experiment. They can do it at home, and teacher they will be like a guide and facilitator for them to guide. Now, curriculum integration. Students learn the practical aspect of photosynthesis. Here, it include the science like in plant growth, light spectrum. It will include all the topics which are there in the science, and even when they will go for the analyzation of data, they will do the graphing or statistical method, and that will enhance their mathematical skills. And by using the LEDs, they will some technological literacy they will have. Now, inferential, yes. Okay. Through observation and experimentation and inferential learning, they will develop the result.
Evidence-based impact. Day 1, we can see that okay, so for some technical reasons we are not able to show the pictures. So we see that on day 1, the plants were grown up to 0 centimeters on each day. The mung beans were just sown. On day 3, the red and blue light, they gave 0.5 centimeter growth, 0.3 centimeter in natural sunlight, and 0.2 centimeters in absolute darkness. On day 5, the red and blue light showed 5.2 centimeters growth, whereas the natural sunlight only 2.3 centimeters, and the complete darkness still remaining at 2 centimeters. Likewise, if we observe on day 7, that is red and blue light showed 9.1 centimeters growth, which is quite a double of the previous slide, and natural sunlight only showed a growth of 4.1 centimeters, and here only 0.4 centimeters expansion in absolute darkness. On the final day of our observation, we see that there was 21 centimeters, 21.8 centimeters of growth on the red and blue light spectrum, whereas natural sunlight showed only 9.1 centimeters growth and only 5 centimeters growth for the absolute dark plants. Detailed observations are red and blue light plants exhibited the highest growth rate while strong stems and larger leaves. As we have already discussed, that red light enhances the dark pigmentation was also seen on the leaves as indicating enhanced chlorophyll synthesis. Biomass accumulation was significant as we can see larger leaves on the red and blue light spectrum plants. Natural sunlight was moderate growth was shown with steady stem elongation. Leaves were well developed but smaller compared to those of the LED treatment. Normal green pigmentation was observed. Complete darkness, plants exhibited etiolation, that is yellowing of the leaves was seen, and it totally failed the experiment that the plants cannot grow under darkness. Leaves were underdeveloped, leading to poor overall plant health, leading to absence of photosynthesis. Comparative summary, plants under red and blue light showed the best growth in terms of height. Sunlight supported healthy growth but was slightly less effective than the LED experiment. Complete darkness related in etiolation, leading to poor plant structure.
Now, novelty and relevance. This is a novel approach of teaching. Various conditions affect the photosynthesis, such as light and temperature. The practical learning that will definitely a better and lifelong learning for the students. And that photosynthetic ability of plant, that is the curriculum for the standard 12 million, and that is relevant to the student. And it is also relevant to the researcher in space. Those who want, like, if there is no availability of sunlight, then also it can be grown in other celestial bodies.
Inclusivity and equity. This experiment is very simple, so it can easily be taught to all types of students. It is not gender bias at all. This does not involve too much of physical activities, so even specially able children would not find it difficult to perform.
Scalability and replicability. All schools and teaching institutions can include this, as it is as I have already said, it is a very simple and home-based experiment, and there is no requirement of any kind of scientific instrument, and it is a non-laboratory experiment can be done. And a lot of research papers are also available for this to have to get the different
Sustainability and cost effectiveness. Waste boxes may be used to grow the plants, which is a sustainable practice, of course. The experiment conducted is very cost effective as the setup requires only cardboard boxes, LED lights and simple pots which are not at all heavy on the pockets.
Learning and reflections. Here the student must be taught that how the seeds are, the proper way of sowing seeds. How the seeds are sown at a proper depth, that needs to be told to them, that needs to be instructed. The second thing is the external temperature condition, that also need to be uniform.
Time up now.
It uniform and the seed should be given that also the seed must be watered by spraying, not if it is if it is not sprayed, then the water logging may happen and it may damage the plant.
So here we conclude our experiment. Red and blue light serve as a boon to the people wishing to grow indoor plants. It can give them better results even than natural sunlight. So now no more excuses that we live in flats and we don't have appropriate sunlight. So kitchen gardening can be done, even performed in your very storerooms. Various other ratios of red to blue light can be used for future experiments and it can be replicated for plants other than Vigna radiata as well. Now we are welcome to queries and suggestions on our case paper, please.
Now, questions around from the judges.
Do you have any other experiment to explain the spectrum to the students? Because your experiment needs 15 days to complete, right? For that, a student have to wait for 15 days to understand this topic.
Yes, sir. So, sir, very few schools also have spectrometers so that we can show that visible light can be split into 7 different light rays, that is the visible spectrum. Out of this, their curriculum also suggests that electromagnetic spectrum ranges from the cosmic rays to the radio waves that are there. Only visible light is useful for photosynthesis. That can be shown to the students through our experiment, as well as we can use Newton's disk, that is showing that white light consists of the 7 different lights.
Do you have all this in your lab?
Yes, sir. Newton's disk can be easily created by the students. They simply need a cardboard sheet and they need to divide it into equal portions and coloring it with your range.
Okay, what are the things you are doing that other schools are not doing?
Sir, it is an approach of practical-based learning. So I feel that 15 days experiment, we are all after covering our syllabuses, sir. So definitely we are utilizing even our summer camps and for all the experiment-based learning that can be given to our students. So all the vacations, 2 days that they can be taught to experiment also and also conduct these experiments in their homes so that they can rely on our theories that they have learned from the classrooms.
Now the question is, this gram, whatever the example you have taken, it is cultivated in India at very vast, vastly. So can we go for controlled farming for such type of plants?
Yes, sir. As our study consisted of only small containers, that was 17:8:12 centimeters of range, but we can also cultivate it for vast experiment rooms, as one of my slides showed that the scientific laboratories, the whole rooms can be designed like that. Even our very storerooms that can have some night bulbs of red light as well as blue light, they can help in growing. So it can be not only grown in small containers but in large rooms as well, if we want to do it in a large scale.
Now when you are using spectrometer, you require dark room.
Yes, so definitely when we are using spectrometer, we require a completely dark room.
Is it available?
Yes, sir, because one of our cases was that we are growing the plants to compare with as a control setup, that the plants were grown in complete darkness. So we are ensuring that there is one room, I just told storerooms. Generally our storerooms are dark, sir.
Okay, now one criteria I want to know, when the children are storing the seeds, whether the seeds are stored at one place or any criteria, any pattern, any such type of matrix is being followed.
Yes, sir, definitely. That is, we need to sow the seeds at appropriate distances so that they do not compete among themselves. If the seeds are competing among themselves, then definitely that is failing our experiment.
Now in inquisitive minds, the students have inquisitive minds. They may ask one question, that what is the relationship of growth of plant with the productivity? Whether the growth of plant decides how much product or how much grains we are getting from that plant.
So in small area when we practice, as we have said, scalability, in small area we are practicing, in large area it can be cultivated. So that growth can be used in for the security and sustainable agriculture.
No, you are not
Sir, how may I please take over the question? Thank you for your question, sir. That is, first I would like to mention that wheat plants, the smaller the height, the greater benefit we are getting from it. So definitely, because they are utilizing less nutrients from the soil, and if the hybrid seeds are used, then definitely they are giving us larger grains. So with the small height as well as the larger grains, we are getting greater productivity. So yes, that can be related with the plant height as well as their growth and the productivity of the plant.
So now that in place of the height measurement, you can see the end result with the different sunlight, that how much productivity we are getting. This may be the situation, because if the plant is grown in a darkness, if a plant is grown in sunlight, if a plant is grown with that special colors, which plant gives you more product? That can be one criteria for understanding this. In place of the height, whatever the growth of the plant.
In place of the height, the grain size, like we have grown mung beans, so even the size of the grains of the mung beans, that can show the size of the leaves. As we said, that red light promotes the leaf expansion and chlorophyll generation as well. So the darker pigmentation also shows that chlorophyll has been generated more in the plants that were grown under red and blue light as compared to the ones that were grown under sunlight. Natural sunlight showed normal pigmentation.
Any success story about this experiment?
Yes, sir. We have conducted this experiment. Our students have conducted this experiment last year, and yes, unfortunately, we could not show the pictures that were actually there. And this year also, we are promoting the similar things, but on different plants as well.
This was which class?
Ma'am, it was performed last year. It was performed by standard 11 students. Now we have conducted experiments with standard 7 students, introducing photosynthesis to them, and since they have learned about the Newton's disk as well, so therefore we can easily teach them visible spectrum also. So we thank our resources that we have used for our research paper, and thank you judges, thank you teachers.